my name is Rosie, and you've heard from me before. Okay, it's been a while since my last review. Bloody hell. I'm just like, excuse my language, YouTube. It has been a while, so I'm back with another review of something I recently watched, and I hope you enjoy. And I will be going flicking to left and right, because I've still not got this YouTube set up properly, so honestly, give me some tips if you're a YouTuber or anything like that. It would be super helpful. Now, on to Umbrella Academy. It's, in the true aspect, it's any superhero, anti-superhero, you know what I mean. DC, Marvel, we've been having all of it of late. And, well, Umbrella Academy goes through the trials of 7 children who have been bought by an eccentric billionaire, but were born under really, unusual circumstances. Pretty much the mothers get pregnant within one day. Like, one day to term, voila! Anyway, the eccentric billionaire by 7 of 43 children. So we all pretty much know, in the later aspect, probably all 43 of these children are going to eventually meet each other. Before I continue, spoiler warning, yes, I think it's pretty obvious that there's a spoiler warning with this. I'm going to be going through the characters, some of their backgrounds, and of course, the season 1 ending. Let's start with the big man himself, the one who bought all these children, Sir Reginald Hargreeves. His codename, the Monocle, which is pretty obvious. He has a monocle. Can't get much simpler than that. Basic profile being a wealthy, famous, reclusive billionaire and scientist. Hence why he was able to force 7 human beings out and a large house in the middle of a bloody city. Let's face it, people, housing prices are ridiculous. Also, the excessive amount of building that's shown, and we'll get onto that later, you'll understand. Sir Hargreeves is your typical cold father, everything's about the experiment, and, he has a brilliant mind. So, he's very not unique. For a guy who is supposed to have started all this, he is sort of plain, very ordinary in terms of the whole universal brilliant mind. Hence he made this AI machine called a mum, or, well, us British call it mum, they call it mom. I don't really know the difference, but it was something I got told not to do, saying people mom. Okay. The nanny, basically AI robot to look like the perfect mother of the 1950s. Yeah. Pancakes with smiles and made out of blueberries and strawberries. Something your mum did as a kid. And he didn't stop with Mom. He actually went on to make Mr. Pogo. We don't know much about Mr. Pogo, in honesty. Don't really know much about Mum or the reason why she was there. Well, I'm guessing you need a super nanny to look after some super children, so. But Mr. Pogo was a talking chimp. Brilliant CGI on this, guys. Congrats to the actor who was his voice. Brilliant CGI. And essentially was reduced to Sir Reginald's assistant. Dude, if you want a secretary, go and get an administrator. Don't change the completely idea of science of making a chimp talk. For those who don't know me, I actually went and did psychology and all that, and it is virtually impossible for any form of ape to talk, despite the fact that we are very closely related to them. The whole vocal cord thing. So unless he somehow managed to put vocal cords into a chimp, and therefore that, which I find highly unlikely because this is a result of billions and billion years of evolution. Sorry for whoever's very religious. And guess what Pogo does in the end? Well, sadly he dies, but before he does that, he helps Reginald kill himself, so all his children can come home. Dude, you ever heard of a letter? A phone call? Yes, very stupid. Like I said, this guy's just very plain and very eccentric. Thinking his death meant that all his children would get back together and become the team again. No, they all buggered off because they had a screwed up upbringing, because they had an eccentric scientist who used them as experiments, and a mother who was a robot, and had a chimp assistant whenever they needed it. Yay! Okay, we're on to number 1 in terms of characters. Number 1, Luther, codenamed Spaceboy. Luther is a boring character by himself, known as the first one bought, and of course the leader of the Umbrella Academy team. He remains with Sir Hargreeves until a mission with contaminated chemicals caused him to pretty much almost die. However, the serum, which we later learn could be ape DNA, yeah, they don't give you any explanation to what it is in the actual episode. You just gotta have to guess. Okay, it enhanced his strength and his powers, which was basically brute strength, to come, well, kinda hairy. I mean, just like, like almost werewolf hairy. It's kind of strange that a serum could do that to one person, because there'd be a lot of men out there who would happily have that serum to, you know. Well, he was sent to, after all that, he was sent to the moon on a fake mission. Go, Dad! Because his dad was ashamed of what he did to his son, because he knew he could never have a normal life, because he bulked up. He was already pretty bulky, but he bulked up a bit more. So he falls apart that dear old Daddy killed himself, and sort of hid him away like Quasimodo. Happy puppy! Yeah. Number 2, Diego, codename the Kraken. And I had to search this name up a couple of times, people, because he had 2, but you'll find out. When researching this character, I found that he's your typical rebellious, I'm not going to be like my dad, and I should be the leader of the actual Umbrella Academy, even though I'm number 2. Yeah. And to make it worse, his codename doesn't make too much sense, because his power, lives. What are you trying to be? Deadpool. He's like a mixture of Deadpool and Robin from the new Netflix Titans, except without the really cool martial arts. So Diego, you're not a very well developed character or person in general. And of course, this anti-hero has a thing for a lady cop who gets murdered, and he gets accused for that murder. Wow. Writers don't really think much of you, did they? And he doesn't change in any of the course of the whole season. Honestly, he seems more like Sir Reginald than any of them. So it's a story we've all heard, and it's pretty obvious, and for the first 2 guys, happy puppies. Now, number 3 is Alison, also known as the Rumour. Now, this is a character is really more interesting towards me, not because she's the lead female of the group, technically. Her powers of persuasion have given her a life of being a celebrity, the love she always wanted, and pretty much considered having the perfect life. That until her husband finds out that she's been using her powers to stop her daughter from having tantrums. Great mum. So he gets really angry and divorces her, takes full custody of Claire, their daughter, and pretty much just goes to another city and starts life anew without powers, which is pretty much what I would do if my partner had done the same thing. So, in any case, Alison has learned a real hard lesson in life and has realised she's never actually gained anything truly herself. I mean, like, everything she is, she's used it via her power alone. When they go back to the whole Luther and Alison being in love with each other, which is really sweet, it's really pure, like, you know, these two grew up together, they knew each other's pain. And all she wants to do now is be a good mum. Stop using her powers. She really literally she wants a power-free lifestyle. She doesn't want to use her powers for anything. So she becomes more redeemable. She becomes a better sister for Vanya and tries to protect her from the events of the show. So it's someone I can really sort of relate to. Like, you screwed up, but you're trying your best. So you feel sorry for her. You really do. Now, on to the next one. This one I personally like. His name is Klaus, number 4, and his code name is the Seance. So you can pretty much guess what his powers are. But, God, I feel sorry for this character. The dude summons and sees dead people, which is bad in itself. But then Sir Hargreeves makes it worse by locking the kid in a mausoleum for most of his childhood. I'm not joking, this was one of his experiments. So the kid, of course, no wonder, becomes messed up, and then when he gets older, he becomes a huge alcoholic, drug addict beyond any mention. They pretty much say that he's on the hard stuff. So he does it all to ignore his powers, like, you know, because the ghosts are just around him. And it's pretty bad that your dead brother's hanging around you the entire time, saying you're screwing everything up, you're gonna die, you can't keep ignoring us. So it really tells the mortality and morality of life. Unfortunately, the writers still weren't kind to him. They decided, oh, you're gonna take our time-hopping briefcase. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Right to 1968 in the Vietnam War. Oh, brilliant. He falls in love. He's gay, by the way. And then loses his love in the war. Happy. Really, writers? I loved this guy. But you messed him up even more than he already was. And the dude could already see dead people. So, where then I learned to love this character, he makes this complete 180 coming back from Vietnam and decides to get sober. That's it. No more drugs, no more alcohol. I am going to see the love of my life again. He helps Luther go through his complete meltdown when he found out his dad didn't even give a damn. And his powers get a bit of an upgrade later, which I think, yes, this is what he deserves. He's had such a messed up childhood compared to the others. I'm sorry, you see dead people, you see them how they died. Any other powers you could have had, that's the messed up one to give a kid. Okay, we are on to number 5, known as 5, codename The Boy. Honestly, this is all we know about him. Guessing the writers didn't think that the main plot device needed a name. Even though his brothers and sisters seem to have them from Mum. Along with the fact that 5 seems to be the basis for the whole plot and season's finale, but we'll get to that later, his main powers are jumping through space and time. Well, not time exactly, as he was able to jump forward, but didn't have the skill to go back. And spent about 40 years stuck in the future. That was mainly the apocalypse. So, fun boy. For the terms of the writers, the character doesn't seem to have the answer. Well, the character has the answers for everything. Okay, not for the main bit, but for most of it, he has the answer to it already. So it's like, really? And he's really arrogant. You really don't like him. It's funny that it doesn't get better that he's actually at the ripe old age of 58. And when he turned 58, the handler came and found him, recruited him for something called the Temps Commission. That came out of nowhere, by the way. Suddenly we had time-travelling assassins. And then he found his way back by using the Temps Commission, but he ended up in a 13-year-old body. So, 58 man and 13-year-old body. I swear the police should be called, but it's kind of funny. In short, it's an adult in a child's body, he smokes, has alcohol, and all the rest. Well, all the rest with Dolores, which is a mannequin. Aggravates me as a character, especially the whole episode that didn't need to be made, because he skips back to the beginning of it. I know the whole 24 hours repeatedly thing has become really popular, but it's rather degrading to treat the human intelligence so poorly. Luckily, he becomes less and less important and more of a liability for the team until the very end, which is what I think he kind of honestly deserves, because number 6, Ben, codename The Horror. Sadly, this character is better known as being dead. We don't know why he died, the reason he died, no. But we do know he follows Klaus around. This is the brother I was telling you about. So far, we know that he can transform into a multi-legged tentacle being, where this is where I believe he should have the known codename Kraken, but I don't understand. understand why. Ben is a form of conscience for Klaus as he relieves himself of his drug habit to save his family, himself, and his friends, and with that helps Klaus accept his powers, despite him constantly fighting it. And further, with Klaus's upgrade comes a manifestation of those powers in the real world. I still wish there was more to this character, but by God, that last episode where he didn't. Wish I could show that scene up, but you know how YouTube is like with copyright laws. It was brilliant because you started to really link to Ben. He's that big brother that you always wanted who said, "No, you're doing something stupid. Just back off." Sorry guys, you'll be hearing my cat in the background because he decided in the middle of this recording that I will let him in. And on time! Number 7, Vanya. Codename, the White Violin. She is the main reason for this whole show. Sorry to number 1 to number 6, but she is. She is an ordinary human being. Even though she was born at the exact same time as her brothers and sister. Lovely, isn't it? Oh, is that what we're supposed to believe? And what was that? What was that? She'd always been treated from age 5 upwards of being very different. She couldn't join on any of the missions. She was just always supposed to play her violin, learn her lessons, train on her own. It was pretty sad. Hence she made a book about being the number 7 who always got left behind. Which, you kind of gotta feel sorry for her because of that. Anyway, from what we learned into, I think it's the 2nd to last episode? Or it could be the 4th to last. 4th to last, I think, yeah. Is that, at first I thought, wait, does Vanya know about her powers? Because you don't get much explanation. But then it turns out her dad had put her on drugs which stopped her powers. I mean, literally stopped them, inhibited them, everything, just stopped. Sorry, I hit my mic. And I think they were originally memory altering until the episode where Alison uses her room powers to make her think she's ordinary, which is kind of sad, honestly. Because this dad manipulates a 4-year-old girl to say, yeah, you make your sister think she's an ordinary human being. Like, why? But you're a kid, you do as your dad does, you know what I mean? So you gotta feel sorry for her. Anyway, her hidden powers seem to resonate with sounds and waves. Music seems to be the heart and soul of it. Hence, the white violin, which sort of makes Sir Reginald sentimental towards her because his wife loved music, so it was kind of sweet. But unfortunately, due to a certain somebody, she ends up killing Alison in a rage. Well, killing Alison's power in a rage because Alison can no longer speak. Literally, she cut her vocal cords, which is pretty horrible. The certain somebody is known as Harold Jenkins, but we know him at the beginning as Leonard Peabody. This boy had spent about 12 to 13 years in juvie for killing his dad. Yeah. You know why he killed his dad? He wanted to be part of the Umbrella Academy. He wanted to, pretty much, he was their biggest fan. Until he tried to join in a very spectacular fail. I'm sorry. There's being a fan and then it's the being a fan. So, unfortunately, Sir Reginald breaks this boy's heart. And Daddy is an alcoholic. What ends up happening? Hammer to the head to Daddy. And he goes to prison. Ends up hating the Umbrella Academy, blaming them for all his problems. Pretty much not a healthy way to live. So, he gets out of prison, he becomes Leonard Peabody. He tries to get close to Vanya, who's apparently the normal one. But then he gets a hold of Reginald's journal, which says Vanya isn't the normal one, she's the most powerful one. So what does this guy think he should do? Oh, manipulate Vanya into killing her family and taking it back on all of them for ever treating her so horribly. Wait, what? Vanya loves her family. Yeah, they're messed up. Yeah, they're not the perfect family. But all they ever did was try and do what's best for her. But this guy says, no, Vanya should have been part of the team. Like, he was part of the team. He should have been part of the team. Well, lovely Leonard Peabody, lovely Leonard Peabody ends up dead. Yes, Vanya gets really pissed off that he's threatening her family and puts about 14 or 15 knives in him. And a screwdriver, hammer, pretty much everyone in the toolbox. Thing is, that's not all that Leonard Peabody did. In order to gain Vanya's affections, he kills the first chair. So there's auditions, so Vanya can show off her powers and gain it properly. No, Vanya didn't know she had powers. And no, Vanya didn't want to earn it honestly, like everyone else had earned it. Yes, the first chair was a bitch, but she didn't mean to die. Oh yeah, he ends up hiring some people because Vanya can't control her powers so well, and forces her to get angry because they're beating up her love of her life. And so he says, Vanya, you've got powers, and then ends up killing all the guys when she's not there. Yee, serial killer, anybody? Just what a messed up show really needs. Now, back to Vanya, because I'm sick and tired of talking about Leonard Peabody. Vanya, I don't like how they portrayed this character. Ordinary girl. You know what an ordinary girl does? They try and make themselves pretty in some way. They just think, I want a little bit of confidence. Heck, I'm even wearing makeup right now because it gives me confidence to talk to you. And I'm probably the most anxious person you'll ever meet. But for this... But they make her ordinary. They put her hair down like this, so her face is practically lined in very dreary clothes, so there's no figure at all. It's like, you're making it sound like they took all away her confidence. She had the confidence to play a violin up into an orchestra. There is some confidence there. But no, they take it all away. They make her as plain as possible. As, like, you know, plain Jane. I don't like that. You can be ordinary, but still look extraordinary. You can't just do that. And you know how they sort of style her when she finally gains her powers? Lovely wavy hair, which, yeah, looks good on her face, but a tuxedo. Originally black and white penguin suit, turns into a white penguin suit. That is how her amazing transformation ends up. Oh, and yeah, some really fake contacts that can turn from black background to normal background and have white irises. Yeah, you went really all out on the fact that she had powers, didn't you? I would have upped it up a lot more. I would have, you know, given her a real, like, you know, this woman was supposed to... Okay, Vanya is supposed to be the one that causes the apocalypse. That is the main thing to all of this. And yet, they make her still look so plain against her family. I'm not joking. She looks... You've got a supermodel / actress sister, a brother that is the size of a titan, a kind of stylish gay brother, a brother that looks like he's a rip-off of Deadpool, and nearing the end, she ends up killing Pogo, because he kept the secret of her powers, and Mom dies in the collapse of the Umbrella Academy. give her some slack, I'd say, because she just learned that her entire life was a lie. Because dear old daddy couldn't control her. Very beginning, I noticed the use of music. And it's not subtle, it is right in your face. And you know what? It's good. It's actually good. Oh, at the beginning I hated this thing, but after the relatable characters and some of them actually having a decent development, I started to love it. So right at the beginning, they took me in by the fact they used Phantom of the Opera. It was like a rock and roll version, and with Angel and Music, the original Phantom of the Opera opening music, it's really good, and Vanya's playing it. So you just fall in love with it more, because then you actually meet everyone and you can tell that this is just a fucked up family. Just almost immediately. YouTube, do not get angry at me because I use the F word. It's kind of cool, and it's a good way of summing up a scene. Like later on there's lollipops, because the two assassins that are part of this, Hazel and Cha-Cha, end up trying to kill each other. It's pretty cool how that happens, but you'll love it. And I would say they use songs across all generations, from 50s to now. Like, you know, you've got rappers, you've got blues, you've got jazz, and of course musicals. Something you can really, everyone will get into. And you can always say, oh, I remember when I first heard that song. So, now, season 1's ended. And I've just, well, finished watching it. And, well, I've just finished watching it. And called it. Instead of going back in time and preventing the apocalypse, Five's actions causes the apocalypse. I am sorry, that is the oldest and crappiest story in the book. Yes, you're telling us not to mess with time travel. But I'm saying, oh my god, you could have done something better. It's like, no matter what they did, it was going to happen anyway. It's like, you could see why I enrage at this thing. Because there are so... You've got Klaus, you've got Vanya, you've got Ben. But then you have to screw it up. You could have made that ending so much better. And then we suddenly have an army of time-travelling agents coming to kill them. Wait, where did they come from? The Handler's alive? Excuse me? It just blew my mind in the worst way possible. It's just... The only two people I rooted for were Vanya and Klaus. Because Klaus, by God, he got off those drugs. By God, he said, no more. I am going to do the right thing. I'm going to help my family. I'm going to go and see the love of my life again. Vanya's like, no more. I am going to actually use my powers. I'm going to learn how to use them. I'm going to be better than my family. Because, by God, did they F me up. But I just... As a human being, they had more of a dimension to them. They had the guts to say, I'm wrong. I'm the one who got hurt. I'm the one who needs to make it right. And she, okay, Vanya did it in the most stupid way possible, and she's gonna realise that. And Klaus, he became more of a leader of the group and the most truthful of the group, compared to freaking Luther and Diego, which Diego, you might as well have just had Deadpool there, without their super healing powers. And Luther, he was just a downgrade of the Hulk. Except he wasn't a scientist. Just... Ben? Well, poor dude's dead, but at least with Klaus he could manifest and use his tentacles. God, whenever I say that, I feel like I am saying something really bad, but you know what I mean. And Alison, good on her, but I still don't like her for the fact that she used her powers on her kid. I mean, every parent out there, and okay, I was a difficult child, I would admit that, but if my parents had powers, I don't think they would have used them on me. Okay, and you kind of do have to say it's their upbringing that's probably made them so messed up in terms of parenting, but that's what the books are for. Your parents don't know everything, but you shouldn't treat them like then they don't know everything. If that makes sense? Well, in conclusion to all this, honestly, it's intriguing to watch because it's a load of crap. It's sentimental and it's extremely boring. But that's what makes it good. They have ripped out unique plots from past places and shoved them into a show and said, here you go, Umbrella Academy. I'm like, you know what? I will watch season 2. Only in hopes, and I mean only in hopes, that you decide, actually season 1 was a bunch of crap, let's make this something decent. Because they're all kids again now. I'm guessing they're going back to the time when they were kids and they're going to help Vanya accept her powers. But I'm going to go into a bit of Frozen 2 here. Frozen 2, they knew what they were doing. Yes, they have Disney. Yes, they have the biggest conglomerate out there. But they decided, instead of making a Frozen 2, which pretty much would be like their shorts, they've made the most interesting trailer they have done in years. And Umbrella Academy decided, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you the same old crap you've been used to. Just like, no. If I want to get sentimental, I'll go watch Nanny McPhee. I'll go watch Men in Black. Because you know what, there is sentimentality there, because they invest you in the characters. You can't invest in Luther because hardly anyone is a big muscly man that's part ape. Tarzan, anyone? Then you can't really, unless you are a huge fan of Deadpool and you want to see another character like him, which I find that very unlikely because I know a Deadpool fan and I think they would hate Diego as much as I do, because I have seen all the Deadpools and some of the extra stuff. Allison, yeah, I can see how you're trying to get to the pretty girls, but what she did was pretty unforgettable in terms of a mother's eyes. Okay, I'm not a mother, but I would say if I ever had when I learned to have the maternal instinct, I will hate this character more than I already do. Klaus, I've already said my piece on him. 5, just a plot. He's there most of the time, but I'm sorry, you don't even give him a name. Ben, dead, and Vanya, amazing development from someone who seemed bland, plain Jane, and ordinary, to having great powers, but they didn't develop it right. They've made us an extraordinary person, ordinary, because, oh, I couldn't control it. And Pogo says, oh, it's because your dad was worried about you. No, he wasn't. This dude was effed up that he screwed up 7 children's lives because he wanted to experiment on them and make them save the world when he's dead, which he did himself. This is why there are so many psychological thrillers out there, because childhood is important, kids. And parents and everyone who's watching there. Childhood is important. I had a good upbringing. Not everybody does. And I would say, compared to some upbringings, this takes the cake. Unless you were brought up in prison, you can't get much worse upbringing than this. So, yeah. Trying to prevent the apocalypse causes the apocalypse. You see that from the beginning, because that's the oldest trick of time travel stories that are. And now they're going back to so Vanya can accept it. And I predict that. I predict that for season 2. They're going to make Vanya accept her powers as a child. And then, what happens? 36. They're going to go and forge a team with another 36 of them, and probably half of them will be enemies. So, yeah, Umbrella Academy. You can invest in some of the characters, but would you really want to watch it? That's what I'm going to ask today. I'm going to ask, would you really want to watch something that you have seen been done before? Okay. That is me, guys. I'm guessing, yes, you've had me rant for a little while there, but you can see where I'm going with this. Well, all I've got to say now is thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter, and we shall be getting more people on Patreon again, so please subscribe. There'll be more videos coming out. I'm going to be cutting down on the AMVs from now on because I want to give you more quality content, but I hope you enjoyed. Tell me your ideas, what you thought about Umbrella Academy. We may agree, may disagree. I don't mind. I love to hear your thoughts. Bye bye.